Oh my god. Good afternoon, or should I say maybe good evening, depending on what part of the world you're in. Welcome, right, to the 2022 Winter Seasonal, sponsored by the Wolves of War, WTH. My name is Gadarian. Glad you guys are here to witness round one of the qualifier stage of this amazing tournament. We have a great matchup for you guys tonight between a North American team in the Line and an unknown team from Europe, unknown to me, a team, HLLPL, Polish team, and they are combined with another team, CC, which I'm not too familiar with, but the beauty of, the seasonal is getting to know all these teams that you're not familiar with. And today, we got a matchup on Utah Beach, right? So we have the Line coming in as the Allies, and we have the Axis, which will be HLLPL.CC. I'm going to try and shorten that up some way, somehow. Anyway, just to let you guys know, it appears we're getting close to a full server. Like, actually, I just looked right now, and we just had another person join. We are actually full server, 100 players. At any point, we can flip the map. So what I'm going to do is try and briefly go over the midpoints, and we'll pull out of the pregame show in case they happen to flip. So, but anyway, let's get it on. Let's get it on. I'm ready. Round one. Let's go. Here we go. Tactical map, Utah Beach. So, and we just got a flip, so we might not have much time, but I will say WN4 is the top spawn. Yeah, let me just jump in one of these squads. Let me jump in with Abel, or maybe I won't get in with Abel. Hold up. We'll be with you guys momentarily. Like, I will be casting from the German side, so I will be following the Polish squad tonight. So I'll save you guys all the back end stuff. I'm just gonna switch over to the camera, set everything up, be with you guys momentarily. And we're just gonna hop into the live scene right now. We're just gonna skip all the particulars. Starting, we're gonna get behind, like I said, we're behind the Polish team. We're just gonna call them PL. We're not gonna go with the HLL. We're just gonna say PL.CC conglomerate. So that's who I'll be behind. Everybody's spawning in at the main. As per usual, you can see nodes are being built. That's just early prep work. Supplies dropped. Engineers are putting out blueprints. Everybody's banging with hammers, getting ready to go. But anyway, let's just, while they kind of organize everything and get everything set up, we've got roughly a minute 30 just to discuss and take a look at the midpoint. So the midpoint is going to be WN4. I like the point. Honestly, there's a ton of barbed wire in and around the point. You've got two big factory buildings. Off the jump, I want to say Allies have a slight advantage getting in because they've got multiple ways of approach. I know controlling this point has a lot to do with controlling this little cluster of house area just south of WN4. And then there's this little tiny building right here where I have my pointer at the top next to this pillbox. So if you can control these two areas and push out and keep your enemy from getting in the E column, basically that's how you control for the Allies WN4. Now for the Axis, which I'm following, I imagine they want to get and push all the way and get into the same buildings, perhaps getting into the two pillboxes north and south of WN4 and not allowing the enemy to come straight in. This whole area along the 3 is mostly skin. So as I've seen in many, many matches, most of the attacking for this WN4 point is going to come from up underneath. So these buildings right here underneath WN4, super important to reclaiming or holding WN4. With that said, I'm just going to pull out. We're ready to go. These guys are all lined up. Let me just ping them, try and get on with the transport truck. The starts are always critical. We know this. So HLLPL.CC, an unknown team for me. Very interested in seeing how it works with these guys. I think Pepper last night when we were on F&F, he said, you know, how are these guys going to do with their comms and how is their start? I mean, who's going to do what? The opener is so incredibly critical right now. And I'm just trying to get an idea of where they're trying to launch from. I think they might try to go south and avoid artillery because you know how they have pre-sighted targets. And we can hear the artillery going off for the Allies. What is strange is I know they have their artillery and they're loaded, all 3 guns, but I'm not seeing marks on the scene. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm not a squad leader. So disregard everything I just said right there. So I will not be able to show you squad leader marks or commander marks. But we're going to pull off of the transport truck. It looks like everybody's kind of arriving close to the same time as expected. HLLPL.CC into the factory building. And here we go. We're going to see TL has gone for the building up north for cap control or sector control. And we have Mr. Do, Boss Man. They are about to just get acquainted real early. The 2 littles. We're going to see who the bigger little is. And while that's going on, we have 50% capped for TL off the start. Down goes the looks for the PL.CC side. 50% capped. I think Sexy and Straight U realize this is a very important as well. The Puma as well coming up north. They realize this building right here is a launch point for controlling and getting OPs into the strong point, which is basically the factory. And in spite of the slow start for PL.CC, they have contested, and that bodes very well. They finally they're heavy in the factory buildings. Super important. And I think we're starting to see, and you guys can see with me as well, they are working the strong point back into their favor. So we are in for a hell of a opener. Artillery is just cracking every which way you look. So once again, they're in those buildings of interest. Silly Little, Pepper, trying to make their way over. They know the importance of this building. And again, we need southern coverage in the houses. Let's pull up this scoreboard. I do apologize for you guys. Didn't get that up early enough. Coltrane, Daniel, So Lucky. They know these little houses, that little cluster, that little farm building, very key to controlling this point. But I will say this, off a rough start for PL.CC, they've weathered the storm and they've pushed TL back to even on the mid. So it's anybody's strong point at this particular moment, but it does seem like TL has won a majority of the gunfights, and you can see on the right side a majority of the blue, which are the Polish squad. They are having to come back into WN4. And progress, again, has started going TL the line's way, 25% and climbing. It's really going to come up right down to this squad. And if we have some tank support, but I think this squad leader here, Morello, if they can somehow get themselves through all that barbed wire and into the factory, it's definitely not looking good at this moment. So maybe at this point you're looking 75%, which basically tells you 30 seconds. TL is, I want to say, firmly in control of the mid now. And I do believe I just saw Khalito. And when you see Khalito's tank come up, let me get him right here. Yeah, Khalito's sitting on the 75 right now, controlling that factory building. It's looking pretty good. That's going to go TL's way. Going to prep the scoreboard for you guys. And there it is. TL off the start, getting the early lead, 3-2. Change the scoreboard up for you guys at home. And there you have it. TL with the early lead, 3-2. Basically just going to sit here on the strong point and see what happens. Now, in terms of garrisons, it's super important when you realize the point is not yours to get up garrisons. They've got a garrison, and that's the HLLPL.CC group in D3. And they've also got an attacking garrison with, looks like Rebel Ant. Again, I think we've got two tanks controlling the southern. We need to definitely check these guys out. We've got a Tiger in a great position, suppressing all the infantry. The question is, where is the allied armor, I should say. We know Khalito is somewhere out there, and if this Tiger's not careful, if he's not getting call-outs, Tiger could go down relatively quick. Now, Tiger does have a lot of targets. However, he needs to be careful. Make sure he doesn't press a bad position, get in too deep and get encircled. He's got to make sure he's got enough blue dots around him to protect his 6 so he doesn't get satcheled or artillery, or excuse me, AT, excuse me. And we see Bloody 9. I think he's the guy who's tasked with taking care of tanks today. So we're just going to kind of hang right here, just give you guys an idea of where the attacks look like they're coming from. From the north is the 3-row. That's the hardest way to come in. It's wide open. And I thought a majority of it will be coming down where Coltrane, Daniel, Cafe, Demoka, Sarge. I imagine most of the attack would come from underneath in this little building that we're zoomed in on here. That's probably the most expected route, and Coltrane and his group, Bloody 9, will sit there. However, PL is going against the grain, and they're saying, you know what? We're going to take this open field, and we're going to deal with your tankers, Mr. Do, Bossman, Atrocity. And you can see it just from your screen here. It's wide open. Tankers are going to have a field day, and they've got infantry support, so not sure how successful this attack is from the northern half, the 3-row, and I'll pull it up right now. This is the 3-row, and this is basically where we're seeing most of the action right above us. So if I'm the line, I'm basically making sure everything is in place, making sure garrisons are good, front line is solid before you push off and at least think about hitting the next point, which would be Sunken Bridge. Now, if I'm TL and I'm looking about Sunken Bridge, I'm trying to come across the 4 and the 5 and get underneath, maybe by Chapel and launch up underneath Chapel and come up underneath the C and the D. And for the Germans, they're set. They're really trying to get in on the 3, which is a difficult get. I think kind of where Wadzu and we're going to call it Nagant, Vespi, excuse me. That's pretty much the area where you need to come in off of. And I think they're out there. Let's try and get a little closer to where I think most of the action is going to take place. I think most of the action in the 3 is going to be, they're going to be stuck. So right here is where I think if they could put up a garrison, put some OPs, and we do see, a squad perhaps, maybe more of HLLPL.CC guys. If you can get established up underneath and incrementally move your way up the MSR north, again, this is the building I had highlighted earlier, saying like you need to get into that building and control that building. And we do have one of the tanks. I'm going to say it's a Luke's, kind of just guarding that building. They know the importance of it. Now, if I were the Luke's, I might just kind of hang tight and not get in there and just go for the kills. I might just sit back and wait for my infantry to come help me. But maybe he sees an opportunity to make that happen. But I'm telling you, Bloody Nine is on the hunt. We've seen this guy on Friday Night Fights do a job, and down he goes. Great shot, Bloody Nine. Again, try not to press your tanks into positions where infantry cannot support you. I think if you would have waited back for this squad here, they might have had a better opportunity of clearing out the building where Daniel and Cafe Mocha currently are. So I'm going to sit in the south looking north just to get an idea. And again, this is, I hope, just a blocking unit. They just want to have a presence in the 3 so that the TL group just can't just steamroll straight across the 3. And I'm hoping they get a garrison, and they being HLLPL.CC, somewhere in the D5 area. They have one in D4, but maybe one a little further south so they can kind of hook up underneath, and ultimately they want to get to where I've got my marker. So this is it right here. Control this area just south. It's a lot easier than trying to come across the top 3 where the tanks are sitting and there's just open field. Now, with that being said, TL's definitely aware of how important this area is, and you can see at least a full squad. Squad leader knocked, watching with probing elements. Right here, we're starting to see it. Sarge. We call him Sexy Beast. I don't know what it... We're going to call him the Sexy Beast. Sexy Beast with a peak. Sarge with the assault gun taking him down. That might have been the BAR. Once again, top down. TL being in orange today, and HLLPL.CC Polish squad in blue. Not seeing too much in the way of blue dots. So at this point, WN4 secured firmly in the hands of TL. It's a matter of when they push, and I think we'll know that once we start to see where the tanks are. When the tanks start to push up, and we do have a 76, and they're slowly starting to move up, get better positions. Derek and Gil protecting the tank, the 76. Now let's check this artillery bombing run. That is a TL bombing run. So I think they're They're ready to start pushing that fourth point being the sunken bridge. Yep, you can clearly see the line moving forward. You have a few PL.CC guys, but nothing significant, you know, to worry anybody on back defense. Yeah, you can see TL. Look, Inferno, Civs. We know Civs is a straight killer. They've moved up. And now I think this is great because you can see artillery smoke coming in. So they're prepping the battlefield. First of all, artillery is online. Huge advantage for TL. They have smoke. They've got HE rounds coming in. Tank support moving up with your infantry. Complete and total combined effort. And I think we're going to start to see the pinch. Now, I think the tank might get to a certain point and just kind of hold and allow hopefully the southern flank, because we're looking southerly right now. And we're starting to see the line creep in slowly towards Sunken Bridge. TL advancing. Now, I'm going to pull the big map up. We do have a tank covering the southern half, and that's near my ping. Let's get on this tank. We have a Tiger. Great position. Hopefully he can hold off this infantry. He doesn't want to expose himself to Kalito and the rest of the lines. I call them one of the best tanking squads in all this damn game. And you can see them right here. They might, let me just back up a little bit. They might, if they just turn their turret to the right just a little bit. Actually, Kalito's out as AT. Are you kidding me, Kalito? Are you trying to be a hero today, Kalito? He should be pinging that tank for the 76. And I can't say is that Dark Ninja, Tommy, and yeah, I can't even read that other one. That one's crazy. But I'm surprised. Tiger Tank is exposed. And I don't understand why the other... Either way, we're going to let these guys... Oh, I think he might have just peeped them. Yes, he did. He did. He finally caught him. Yep. And there it was. He was exposed. Tiger Tank was exposed. And, yep, these guys in the 76 took care of business. Let's get in closer to the point. Coltrane. This is a kill squad. Bloody Nine, Sarge, Cafe Mocha. Uh-oh. I think he's stuck in the dish. This is an easy kill for Cafe Mocha. Yep, ring him up. Let's ring it. The noose is closing. I can feel it. They got Southern, and that's TL, Southern presence in the 5, and they're closing in. So, although at the same time, I'm going to say, oh, hang on a second. Over there checking out the Southern, and across the 3, got a nice little group of PL. But that's a problem. Yeah, see, 76 is not going to allow them the opportunity to just walk in on them. And with some infantry support, you're not going to get behind the tank. Funneling them basically, you know, south into these killers right here. So the tank is forcing them south into this small little hamlet. Now we are seeing cap progress. TL is 40% cap climbing. They're heavy in the strong point with guys crushing in right at the moment. We're just going to sit here Let's see how these gunfights go. Things not looking too good at the moment for PL.CC. Cap progress still moving toward TL's side. Hopefully Commander has some reinforce up. But it's looking like it could go 4-1 in the next 30 seconds. Now PL has a ton of guys. And here it is. This is just, it's going to boil down to gunfights. Who's winning gunfights at this point? TL in the better position in the strong point. We hear a bombing run coming. Is that, and the point flips TL's way. We've got a 4-1. Favor of the Allies. We're going to stick here. We're not sure if it's completely... Not sure if it's completely secured yet. Let's check garrisons. Do we have garrisons? No, we don't have garrisons. Munitions are well, you can't see. It's obstructed by the scoreboard. 37 on munitions. The fuel is at 510, so they will have a tank, a heavy, in the next minute or so, but let's just say artillery is going to be offline. Now you've got the Allied 76 moving up. Coltrane is flanking way off, looks like just south. We have a squad leader. Coltrane and his group is... I know he's trying to get underneath. So, Ham, Silly Little Willie, they're going to go... Down goes... Is that Pop? Pop goes down. Silly Willie caught out in the middle of nowhere. Gets a drop on... Is that Michael? But Hazard takes down Silly. Commander marked our infantry. PL.CC down to their final point. It's 4-1. Last point being Mammoth radar. So things are not, at the moment, looking too good. But you never know. Just hang tight, guys. PL.CC. Hopefully you can get enough munitions built. I'm going to take a quick look at the munitions one more time. 630, so they can pull out a heavy, a Tiger. I'm not sure if that's going to... It might hold the point, because the point was going TL's way. Also, it's important to note, do they have any garrisons? Because the moment this back point radar starts to drop, okay, they do have a garrison, although I don't like the placement of it. It's awfully close to the strong point. They have an additional spawn point to spawn on. If and when, I think when is more appropriate, when the last point starts to go TL's way. Because you see the tip right here. Coltrane, So Lucky, Sibs. Yeah, when it all starts to come together, when a plan comes together, 18, right? Roscoe Pico Train. Gonna run with Sibs. We know Sibs is looking for a fight. Oh, come on, Sibs. Hey, press in a tough position, though. Sibs was trying to get in there. For the moment, PL.CC has held. However, you can clearly see Dr. Ham, Dr. Hambone getting around. Now, we do have a Panzer IV coming back to save the day. And we do hear rockets going off behind him. He's just out in the open. Not too much in the way of support, infantry support. He might want to get closer to a hedgerow. Let's zoom in. I do believe I'm starting to see the final push. Yes, Khalito and Do. Look at these guys. The final press is on. I'm not sure what that Panzer IV is going to do, to be quite honest. Now, hopefully the 76 gets a little bit more in the way of infantry support, because he's just basically hanging it out there. I think TL's all in. They're just saying, screw it, let's go for it. We haven't seen much. We're roughly 30 minutes into the match, and I think they're feeling like this could be, you know, the moment to make the final move. Let's just clean it out. I'm seeing that right now. I'm getting the scoreboard prepped. It does appear like it's going to go 5-0 TL. Unless some magic happens from PL.CC, we're looking at about 1 minute remaining in the match. Now the Panzer IV is out there just south. He doesn't want to engage. I mean, there's nothing but bad guys in the strong point. He's maybe hoping to buy some time. Now Khalito's getting hit from the rear, but will that matter? Not in the next 30 seconds. I don't think so. Too many TL players inside the strong point. This is all but GG. And, you know, in spite that PL.CC is taking the 4th point, the cap race is all but over. They need to redeploy. 15 seconds. I think TL takes the first round of the play-in qualifier in impressive fashion in just under an hour, or just over an hour, excuse me, 5-0. And that's how it plays out. Now let's just check some quick scores. Game happened and kind of went through real fast. We just tried to see, let's see what the tankers did. Tankers put up some decent numbers. Mr. Do Squad, 2,000. Yeah, Allies, yeah, they never really even got a chance to get started. But, yep, and there's the other, Khalito, about 1,400 from his squad. And that's not bad for really 30 minutes of work. So I'm going to pull out, let's get out of this, back into the booth. And we'll pull down this here. Hey, quick match, you know. Comments on the job PL.CC did. Listen, guys, you Polish guys, hey, first time in like major competition, and you're going up arguably against one of the, if not the best, North American squad, right? To hang in there for 30 minutes, I think that's pretty decent, honestly. A lot to learn about, you know, positioning and, you know how you play the meta in terms of gunplay. I mean, you look at individual VODs and get an idea of how your guys played. Overall, perhaps, you know, when things happen so quick, you're like, oh, you know, could have done things differently. I'm not really sure. I know there were some garrison issues. I know there weren't, like maybe the back line wasn't as tight as it could have been. Preparation for that is key to any time you're losing a midpoint. Anyway, again, a lot of things that you're going to go back and take a look at once the match is over, and you can kind of review everything on your own. So yeah, TL going 1-0, and now PL.CC having to fight their way in from the losers bracket, because now they're 0-1. Now I'm not sure who's fighting who next week, but I know TL is looking pretty solid at the moment. So we're just going to hang out a little bit. I know some people might have said they might have wanted to do a post-match, but I said I'll hang around for a little bit if you guys want to ping me and pull them in Discord. Yeah, and for the time being, yeah, we're just gonna hang out a little bit. See if I can't get Mr. Do. Maybe he's interested. Just give me one sec. So we put the feelers out. Let's see what they come back with anything. Who knows? I mean, the match is fresh over. I'm interested actually in seeing how the rest of the matches played out. I was hearing earlier before I got this underway that STB was having a little bit of a difficult time in their match against 91st Panzer Grenadier, 31st Infantry GR3. That's a conglomerate German squad against STDB. Yeah, our batch started pretty much right around the time that, you know, things were getting quite interesting on their side. So anyway, we'll give it about another minute or so. You know, if it doesn't work out, we'll catch up with them another time. Maybe we'll do it for the midweek show on either Wednesday or Thursday. We like to do a midweek show highlighting, you know, everything that's going on at HLL. You know, it could be Friday Night Fights. We're going to talk about that, obviously. Last week was pretty exciting, or yesterday was exciting. And we'll obviously highlight everything that goes on today and tomorrow, because there are matches going on tomorrow as well, which I'll be casting. Trirex is going against CSP. That's the Slavic clan. We'll get those guys. I'm not sure the time, but if you guys are interested, we'll hook that up. Make sure you know, jump on the HPL Gadarian stream. We'll get that started. I want to say it's probably around 3 o'clock, right around the same time Eastern Standard that we're on right now. So Mr. Do got back to me. He's like, yeah, getting you someone. It's a big mystery now. Who's it going to be? Who wants to talk to Mr. Got you the JB Commander. Let's get the JB Commander. Great. Let's go. Quick match, 30 minutes. Generally, not a whole lot to dissect. It's not quite a steamroll, but, you know, it's a decisive win. Anytime you beat somebody 30 minutes and under, it's, you know, you're overmatched. So the beauty of this is every single team that watches and reviews everything that they've done gets better. So the whole point of this seasonal is to get more teams involved, and you're basically playing against a seasoned TL team. And, you know, there's a lot to learn. And if you want to stick with this, you know, there were some positive things that I saw, and I'm sure the PL.CC group is going to go back and talk about what they did well, because it wasn't all just, you know, it wasn't all bad. I mean, the beginning was quite interesting. I think off the jump, TL had the mid about 50% cap, and PL.CC fought their way back to even. Okay, eventually they wind up losing it, but that was great back and forth, you know. And who knows? Once you cap the mid, you know, things change, right? So maybe that transitional period, you know, what do you do, right? I think they could have worked on, you know, what happens, you know, if we lose the mid. Are we prepared? Is the commander making sure supplies are dropped on the back line? All that good stuff. Let's check this. Got Jay Bork.
Hey, Darren, how's it going?
Oh, Jay Bork decided to join me. Hello, Jay. Wait, anyway, let me make sure that you're. Yeah, just talk for me a little bit, my man.
Mic test. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, let's bump you up a little bit. There you go. Let's get this up. Yeah, you should be good now, my friend. So
Awesome.
talk a little bit about the match. I mean, it didn't go very long, but you guys, you showed out. You did awesome. It was a 30-minute match. Anything surprise you? Were you guys worried a little bit? I know that there was at the beginning, you guys looked like you had a great start, had the mid capped close to 50%, and PLCC was clawing their way back in. I think they brought you even at one point, and they might have started to take the mid at some point. They didn't hold it long, but these guys looked like they were at least trying. I mean, they didn't just fold.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think they got it to almost 2/3 there at one point. It was, I wouldn't say we were necessarily worried, but I would say if, like anytime you're not getting that cap pressure off the start, it's definitely concerning. I know that there was some calls on our side in command chat to collapse more people to the cap sector, including some of our more south flankers that were at Chapel. I'm looking for that.
Chapel being the southern, you're going for map control. You had to pull some of those guys up and say, hey, man, we need some help up here. We're not able to hold it down.
Definitely. There was generally a couple calls to collapse on hard cap, which is not always something you necessarily want to do. We're always of the mindset to get the box out priority first, and hard cap as like a last resort. But once it got close to them capping it, we definitely did have to collapse a bit.
In terms of tank play, I'm going to say this. I mean, TL is probably, arguably, some of the best tankers in this game, and I think they were a huge difference. Khalito, Mr. Do, all his guys that practice this game week in and week out, thought they did a great job. You want to talk about, how impactful tank play was?
Yeah, I mean, the tanks were huge. I'd argue that was probably the biggest contributor to the 4th point cap. Our goal was to get everything within the barbed wire cleared at WN4. Once we did that push from WN4 to Sunken Bridge is just open fields and one road. So we actually waited till we had 276s there, and then we sent infantry, artillery, and the tanks all as one.
Yeah, that's what I was saying in the booth. I said, you know what, they've capped. They're probably just solidifying the back line, coordinating, obviously what you just told me, the tanks and the infantry and the artillery. I notice whenever I see Khalito's tank moving up, I know that there's a call. So all the tanks rolled up with the infantry, and I did notice the artillery was online most of the match. So they were dropping smoke and HE rounds on that 4th point. So I kind of felt, now's the time. This thing might end quick, and it kind of did. Not too long after you guys capped the mid, I'm going to say about 10 minutes after, it felt like, okay, the envelopment is happening, and this is going to get done reasonably quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say, it's a compound, right? Once you get that early map control, I think, and this is something that took us a long time as a team to really wrap our heads around and get everyone on board, is you got to prioritize map control first over necessarily a cap. And even on the opener, for example, had we lost WN4, we had a full line of garrisons ready to go behind and people knowing where they spawn. So I think once they lost 4th, they didn't reset quick enough, and that split-second decision is honestly what makes or break a competitive game in my mind.
Yeah, I saw it in the admin cam. They just, these guys are new to comp, so that transition and that communication, that back line has to be firm, especially when you're losing the point. I mean, you kind of know when you're about 75% cap whether you're going to be able to have a chance. I mean, the defenders and the commander need to, preemptively prepare for that moment, and I don't think PLCC either understood it or did a good enough job getting that done, and I think you guys capitalized and ultimately pushed them out. So with that being said, Bork, do you guys know how what the next game is? You guys are in the winners bracket, you're 1-0. Do you know how the tournament goes forward from here? Like, we all know that the rest of the 1-0s play each other.
I'll be honest, I don't have probably any idea about that. I let Do and Cole, who are our representatives, handle that. They come to me, I say, all right, this is the map, and then I'll go sit down at the drawing board and start getting the
a good start to the seasonal. You guys were predicted to go 2-0. I think from the polling, the map polling on the Discord in WTH, or not, excuse me, the seasonal, you guys were, you know, one of, or I think you might have been number one. You were expected to go 2-0. So, you know, half of the goal of getting into the main stage has been accomplished. Congratulations, nice job. Any closing marks? You want to shout anybody out before we wrap this thing up?
I want to say GG to our opponent, HL Poland and CC. They gave us a good fight. I said WN4 is a point that's definitely closer to our side, and they almost had it capped. They didn't just roll over right away. They had guys in our back line. Got a couple opening Garys of ours destroyed. So, you know, like I said, this is a tough game, and it has definitely a steep learning curve. And so I don't want to take anything away from our opponent ever. But we're just focused on moving on to the next one.
Well, congratulations. I wish you guys luck next round, whoever you're playing, whoever your opponent is. And we'll see you soon.
Always a pleasure, Kadarian. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Take care. So, ladies and gentlemen, that about does it. That was Jay Bork from TL. They're TL moving on, getting ready for their next opponent, whoever that may be. After all the rest of the matches kind of finalized today, we've got quite a few going on. We've got a few on the slate today and quite a few tomorrow. So after that all washes out, we'll know on Monday who's playing who. And I'm looking forward to casting the next one starting tomorrow. It's going to be Trirex and CSP, Slavic Squad. Check me out, HPL Gadarian, tomorrow around 3 o'clock. You guys have a great rest of your day, evening, whatever it is. Catch you on the flip. Take care, guys.